Welcome to Creator Upload, your creator economy podcast. I'm Lauren Schnipper.
And I'm Joshua Cohen. Lauren,
What?
until what time did you stay up watching the Knicks last night?
I mean, not late because they were down 30-something points and I was exhausted and I fell asleep and then I woke up to a goddamn miracle. A miracle on the court, not a miracle on ice this time. They won by a point. I mean, I just watched the last 10 minutes. I mean, that was a game.
Lauren, I also went to bed early. I mean, we have small children. We can't be expected to go for this. Adam Silver, if you're listening, make the games a little bit earlier.
A little bit.
Like start them at 7:30.
A bit. Yeah.
We understand people on the West Coast, they'll have to get out of work a little bit earlier in order to watch, but come on, make it easy on us. What I was most fascinated with was when I woke up in the morning and went to go check the stats for who won the game.
Sure.
I was inundated with innumerable clips from the NBA, ESPN, and ABC that already have millions of views on them.
Yeah.
And that's not a new phenomenon at all. I mean, these people that have rights to these big, high-profile sporting events are obviously going to clip them as much as possible and upload them to their owned and operated channels on these major video sharing sites. And the depth and just real estate that they're covering, the views that they're getting is, I think, remarkable. And it could be because this is a very high-profile series. New York Knicks haven't been in the finals in 20-some-odd years, haven't won a series in 50-some-odd years, so there is more attention on it. But still, I mean, they are rocking it.
Well, it's the speed. And it's also it's just showing clipping. I feel like clipping is this thing that people are just, it's been around for a while, but people have put a name and a category. It's it's a category now of actual growth and marketing. And everybody I talk to is building a clipping business inside of their organization. And it's just, it started, I feel like it started, I'm giving it an origin story, but it started from a fan perspective in some ways. And now these sort of, to your point, IP holders are owning it. And this is how you sort of grow. I was excited because having gone to sleep when they were 29 points behind or something like that, I was I really just want, I don't want to watch just the clips. I wanted to watch the last solid 10 minutes of the game because I just wanted to have a little bit of the experience of seeing the comeback. And to your point, surprise and delight, the NBA got the memo because they're everybody went to bed when they were so behind, and there's a solid 10 minutes, they have the last 10 minutes of the game. And so I got to have a little bit of a moment being oh my God, how is this even possible? I mean, because the Spurs were literally, to say that they were outplaying them, it doesn't even give it justice. I mean, the Knicks were missing every shot.
Lord, no one's coming here for our NBA
I'm just
commentary.
saying, maybe a little bit. Your point, yeah, right. Back to clipping, totally, tons of clipping.
I watched a 10-minute highlight reel from the game, and then I scrubbed through a 58-minute video, again from primary sources here.
Yeah, the speed by which these primary sources are doing these clips and then longer clips and shorter clips is a little bit, it's kind of unprecedented. And that's what's really interesting to see here.
I do like what she said too, and I can totally agree with that, where just because this phenomenon has a name now, you can put it as a line item in a budget.
Yeah.
Or maybe it used to be part of marketing or used to be part of some amorphous distribution line item. Now you can have a clipping line item in the budget that gets resources, time, attention, human power devoted to it, and then you can go off and get tons of views on all this.
I'm telling you,
programming
I talk to companies in the space all the time. Everybody, as they should, is building a very specific, organized clipping business internally because they want to use it for sometimes their own kind of proprietary stuff, but other folks that are kind of services businesses are also building these things because this is the way you do it. And again, it's sort of it's only recently, very recently, and I always find this fascinating because I'm always looking at companies in the space and I see trends, right? One of my favorite things, several years ago, it was every other company was a Lincoln Bio company, right? And then every other company was trying to solve for the mess of DMs that you're getting in your various inboxes and stuff. And now it's the trend right now is clipping. That's all anybody can talk about. That's just what's next, Josh. Who knows?
Who knows? You'll hear it here on Creator Upload now.
You will do. Good segue there. Bunch of stuff happening this week. One thing is YouTube is bringing back DMing. So they're reintroducing private messaging after testing for new ways for users to share videos and have conversations about them. They started this sort of last year. In an announcement on their blog, YouTube says it's now starting to expand the in-app sharing and messaging to feature to users in the US who are 18 and older. So DMing is back, baby.
So, Lauren, YouTube used to have native DMs in 2017 through 2019, and then they killed them to, quote, focus on public conversations, end quote.
Sure.
It is
Sure.
worth noting that they ended the program or the feature in September 2019, which was the
Mhm.
same month as YouTube's $170 million FTC COPA settlement.
Ugh.
And
Ah.
it's no surprise then that they are relaunching DMing through with age gate attached. So you
Yes.
have to prove you're 18 years or older in order to DM, and then you have to send someone basically a connection request that they then accept that you'll be able to DM with them.
Seems like obvious safety features that maybe should have been implemented from day one, but go on.
And I think in lots of ways it's not interesting that YouTube's doing this. The platform has said that this is one of the number one top requested features. And also YouTube's losing all of this time on the platform when people are going to other platforms to DM
To
other
DM.
people, to message
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
The videos that they're talking about or that they're seeing, where Instagram, it's native for them. Snapchat, it's native for them. So YouTube wants to capture all of this attention. However, I do think that this is a step closer to YouTube being less able to defend itself from not being a social network. And whatever
Isn't
other
that
political ramifications that
interesting?
has,
Yes. Oh,
whatever
I
other
love where
political
you're
ramifications
going
that
there.
has, or legislative implications,
Yeah, I mean,
or
I think
just kind of
to put that in context, what you're talking about is that YouTube alongside other quote unquote social media networks, Meta, et cetera, are parts of lots of lawsuits, sort of claiming right now there's a new trend in these lawsuits where it's not about the content, it's about the, sort of alleged addictive nature of the sort of algorithms. And YouTube's whole defense in this is that, whoa, we're not a social network. We're this like, very innocent sort of, video sharing platform. And we're so sorry that we're getting lumped into this, but what are you talking about? We're not about that. And to your point, this is sort of a step in that direction that definitely would just like what now, how do you define a social network if this is not it? Like, I guess that's the question. What is
right.
the
You're
definition of what?
publicly sharing posts. These happen to be mostly of a video nature, and you're able to communicate with other people on the platform in a one-to-one or one-to-many basis. That seems like a pretty good definition of a social network I just
I
came
mean,
up with.
I think you just did it. Maybe you should call the like YouTube lawyers and tell them they should just send a memo internally to YouTube, be like, don't fucking do this, man. But I think to your point also, like, I think you're absolutely right. They're doing this because people are doing this, private messaging elsewhere. If they can't do it on YouTube, they're going to figure out a way to do it. So they want, as all of these, sort of, platforms want, they want all experiences to sort of really hopefully stay on this platform and not go elsewhere because you lose them.
And there are also some interesting data points to point out from Instagram, who has had this feature for a very long time,
Hmm.
that can show more of like why YouTube's doing this and the trajectory it's headed. So Zuck said in 2018, quote, people share more photos, videos, and link on WhatsApp and Messenger, end quote, than on social networks. This was in a message to investors. He cited that there are 100 billion messages a day across Meta's apps. Also, Adam Masseri, who's the head of Instagram, recently said there's an estimated 694,000 Instagram reels shared via DM every minute, which is wild.
Wow.
And
Wow.
also, he's confirmed that sends are one of the three core ranking signals in Instagram's algorithm, alongside watch time and likes per reach. YouTube traditionally has not been able to, because they haven't had this feature, haven't had it for quite some time, incorporate these sends into its algorithm and its decision-making capabilities.
Yeah.
So it could also be a big boon for the engineers at YouTube and the people who are in charge of this algorithm, that they will have this other signal that they can incorporate into the algorithm and give people more of the videos that they want, or at least that the algorithm thinks that they want.
So I have this sort of new-ish bit how like my least favorite words in our ecosystem are authenticity, and that's like you go on a panel and everybody's like, you should just be authentic. Like, what the does that mean? And my second sort of least favorite word people use is engagement. Not because I think it's like a bad word, is the way I hate authenticity, is because nobody understands how to define it because it means different things to different people. But I think what you're describing is so interesting as it relates to engagement. So basically what Adam Mosseri is saying is that one of the factors that they kind of attribute in engagement is this DM. And that is something, it's not just about like shares and views, right? And not likes. It's like what other signals, how are folks engaging with the video? And to his point, like this is a huge indicator of massive engagement and how it's going to affect reach. And I think that's when the engagement conversation gets interesting. And then to your point, this is why YouTube's like, well, shit, we got to add this. And then,
Right.
you know?
And then you're probably going to see people, whether it's added to the algorithm or not, or whether people think it is or not, and whether people at YouTube say it is or not, creators are going to think that this has some weight on it. I imagine we'll see creators very soon saying like, hey, and share this video with as many friends as possible. I think we're going to start to see a lot of that.
I think we're going to see a lot of that for sure. This is a good segue into like TikTok is doing yet another partnerships, right? So TikTok just announced they're teaming up with Sundance, the famed sort of independent film institute, for a micro series writing program. The reason why I think this is an interesting sort of segue is because TikTok is sort of like doing so many interesting partnerships now. And unlike other platforms, it's not that TikTok doesn't want you to stay on their platform a lot, but what they're not doing is building up all these capabilities internally, which is like sort of like antithetical to every other platform that everybody's trying to do everything in one place, where TikTok's like it's partnering with Spotify and iHeart and now Sundance. And I don't know, I just think it's as everybody who listens to this knows, I have a lot of issues with TikTok, but I find their partnerships fascinating and really kind of innovative. The partnership is going to be a micro series writing program. It comes through the Sundance Collab, which is their digital learning and community platform. It's sort of following on Issa Rae did a partnership with TikTok and in terms of co-producing it was the first time they'd ever co-produced like sort of a micro series. Her series is called Screen Time, and it debuted with like 75 million views in its first week. So it's a 4-week live online writing course designed for TikTok creators and other creatives that sort of really zeroes in on the essentials of development specifically for episodic installments of 60 to 120 seconds. I find this really interesting and fascinating because this is what everybody I talk to is trying to figure out micro series in micro dramas. And this is now, I don't know that anybody has totally figured it out, but this is now incubating, and you're going to get some really talented folks now writing in the medium. And I think it's kind of brilliant.
Patty West, who's the director of Collab at Sundance Institute, which is presumably in charge of these kinds of partnerships, sees it as, quote, not a lesser version of film or television, end quote. And that's in reference to this type of vertical format serialized storytelling. So it is interesting that Hollywood is embracing this in a way that it hasn't embraced other platforms. I wonder why that is. I think it could be just because everybody can easily watch these and everybody easily gets it. Whereas if I'm a 40-something, 50-something, 60-something-year-old and I'm watching Jesser, I'm like, I don't understand what this means. But if I'm watching some type of verticalized micro drama that's more appealing for my demographic, I like get it.
This is on the heels of like in January, Fox, did a deal with Darman Studios with Holy Water to create 40 narrative-driven vertical microdramas. So like, when you've got the Foxes of the world getting into the space, the independent filmmakers have to start to figure out like how they're going to, the Sundances of the world have to figure out how they're going to support this. They can't deny it anymore. Now, what does this mean?
Right.
Sundance has a very robust shorts program. No Big Deal, a short that I produced was in Sundance like 10 years ago. It's a no big deal. No big deal. So like in the big filmmaking, actually in my class of shorts that when I produced, the short for Whiplash was in that. And they got funding, and then it became this big movie that won all these Oscars. So like this is what they do. And Sundance, you can argue, as becoming these kind of festivals are becoming less and less relevant because of platforms, right? And it's not necessarily where you're discovered anymore as it was years ago. So it's what they need to be doing to stay, like a lot of the filmmakers that used to go to Sundance are now going to be putting these shorts on TikTok that, then will hopefully get bigger funding and et cetera. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is just like, I wonder how micro dramas in this verticalized video format have adopted so much quicker into the Hollywood ecosystem and been embraced by it.
But you say quicker. I mean, quicker. Like this, the creator economy's been around for 100 years. Not 100 years, in art. It's like 20 years, and they're finally getting on board with something because the numbers are big. I don't think this is so quick. I don't agree
I
with
know,
that.
but these verticalized dramas didn't exist several years ago.
Sure, but the creator economy did, and what they did, and they didn't embrace a lot of this initially. So now they're seeing what they have to do. So I don't know. I feel like it's lessons learned and things have evolved. I mean, I feel like it's like they know what they have to do. Again, and this is not coming in a vacuum because the places like Fox have like done these things. They're seeing the writing on the wall.
I'm saying places like Fox have been quicker to adopt this verticalized video format in this microdrama fashion rather than like creators or other types of programming that we've seen evolve over the last 20 years. I mean, they are starting to do that too. They hired Billy Parks to lead their Fox Creator Studios, and they're doing some interesting partnerships with creators there. But it seems like this is just an easier dive into it because the execs at these big Hollywood studios can watch these vertical video dramas and be like, "Oh, that looks good.
I
I
mean, they can
get it.
watch it quickly because nobody
Let's
watches,
go."
and yeah, so it's just the speed that they can watch things. Okay, sure. Big news in creator economy acquisition: Accenture has acquired Whalar. Josh, talk about this.
Lauren, it's worth noting that Accenture Song has acquired Whalar and not Whalar Group. Whalar Group is composed of a bunch of different companies, including The Lighthouse,
Yes.
which has campuses in Venice and Brooklyn. It has the 16th, which is a management company, and more. Accenture Song is acquiring Whalar, which is their influencer marketing agency. And that's going to be incorporated into Accenture in what Neil Waller, who's one of the co-founders of Whalar
Mm-hmm.
Group,
Mm-hmm.
called it, quote, the largest creator economy transaction, end quote,
Can mean a
which
lot of things.
it can mean a lot of things. And he didn't back that up with a number.
No.
If you want to benchmark this, Publicis paid $500 million for Influential in 2024. That was the reported figure. So I think like many people would go to that number, but maybe Neil Waller means that this was the largest just influencer marketing agency that has been acquired in
Right,
this
and even if the
ecosystem. Like,
number can
who knows?
ultimately be bigger than that, there's likely an earn-out component to this. Very, very doubtful that that money was whatever money, all of it was given up front.
Especially because in May 2025, Whalar Group announced it had raised some dough from Mark Benioff, Shopify, Neil Moritz, and more at a $400 million valuation. And that covered all 6 businesses, including the 16th, the agency we just talked about, the Lighthouse, Foam, which is kind of its internal influencer marketing software, Moby Ventures, which is the part of Whalar Group that it partners with creators on different types of products, and Umi Games.
And according to the Wall Street Journal, Whalar has 170 people, and the business likely generated less than $40 million in net revenue on an annual basis and is relatively small compared with the broader Accenture Song, which is about 17,000 employees, not which doesn't include the broader sort of Accenture itself. It's and again, according to the Wall Street Journal, it's unlikely that the valuation came close to the 400 million valuation for the broader Whalar Group reported at the time of the company's last fundraising. Um, so I don't know what this means in terms of valuation, but regardless, this is a very, it's a big transaction from sort of a company like Accenture getting into the space is a very sort of monumental kind of thing, right? And
100%. You have
that,
this consulting firm with $70 billion in annual revenue
yeah,
acquiring this influencer marketing agency,
yeah, yes,
which is unprecedented and
yes,
shows you at least where Accenture, which if they're a consulting firm, they seemingly know which way the wind is blowing. That's what they
seemingly,
get paid the big bucks for.
yes.
And they want to get invested and more involved into this space in this ecosystem. This seems like a big indicator of where someone who is intimately involved with a bunch of different components of the markets think that the markets are going.
Yeah. And then another big sort of big dollar moment in the space. So TPG and Creative Artists Agency have sort of come together to form something called Compound Creative Holdings, which is going to essentially be a $250 million fund for YouTube talent. It's going to be led by Tucker Brown, who's been at CAA Evolution for a really, really long time. And their focus is going to be to acquire and or invest in businesses founded by entertainers who got their start online, also known as creators. According to Tucker Brown, who's going to be leading these efforts, longtime CAA Evolution um, guy that I've worked with for years, great guy. He said there's a lot of capital in the market generally and a lot of interest in creator businesses, but there aren't many educated capital platforms dedicated to invest in the category specifically. I think that he is correct, especially in sort of companies call it that are, effectively like, really have a strong key man risk and have creators at the helm of it. It's historically been something that a lot of call it institutional capital, have been a little bit afraid of. And Tucker, if anybody, he's been in this space for a long time and really understands the benefits and the risks. So he says that he estimates that there are hundreds of creators that fit this initial investment strategy. So very excited to see what happens here.
And Tucker was the baker who helped raise money for Dude Perfect.
Correct.
That was roughly $100 million or more in 2024.
All right, Josh, let's get to uploads and downloads. I need to bring up an upload. Have you seen the trailer for The Social Reckoning, also known as like Social Network 2, starring Jeremy Strong as Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Jeremy Strong does a really good Zuckerberg.
It was insane. Like Jesse Eisenberg, like he was sort of embodying the essence. He was a little angrier. Zuckerberg is like, he's actually kind of affable. He's not, there's like an angry bent that I personally did not experience, or like a sinister bent that the way Eisenberg played it. The way Jeremy, I mean, it's uncanny, though, his impression, or whatever you want to call it, his portrayal of Mark Zuckerberg. It's like, for no other reason, you got to see it because of that. But it looks pretty, I mean, it's Aaron Sorkin, and it seems to be focused on sort of the whistleblower from several years ago coming out about things that supposedly Meta knew and didn't disclose to the public, and all the things that transpired as a result. It looks kind of phenomenal.
Jesse Eisenberg was also portraying Mark Zuckerberg at a moment in time when the public opinion of Mark Zuckerberg was dramatically different than it is now.
Yes.
And I think Jeremy Strong is embracing what it really means to be Mark Zuckerberg and how the world sees Mark Zuckerberg into his role. At least that's what it looks like so far.
Well, it also, like, that movie, I mean, Social Network was a phenomenal movie, but it also sort of made it so the motivation for creating Facebook was like to get a girl. And I remember Zuckerberg being like, I've had the same girlfriend for like 20 years at that point. So like, it just also like, it was a little bit like this one's going to be real, Josh. We know more. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to see it. Josh, I think we did it.
Lauren, I think we did. And I'll see you trying to slide into a bunch of creators' DMs on YouTube.
Absolutely. I'm staying on one platform and one platform only.
If not there, next week on Creator Upload. Today's show was produced by Lauren Schnipper, Joshua Cohen, that's me, and Adam Connor. It's edited by Adam Connor too. Original music is by London Bridge. You can check him out on Instagram at London Bridge Music. Make sure you subscribe to Creator Upload right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts as well, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. While you're there, give us a rating and leave us a comment. If you want to talk, hit us up at info@creatorupload.com. If you like our show, recommend it to a friend. If you love it, just tell everyone. Thanks for listening to Creator Upload, and we will be back next week.